Hi everyone. So now we will begin with our example session on the topic crops and agricultural practices. Alright. So we studied about the various crops, alright, the various agricultural practices, the various tribes. We studied about wildlife, we studied about Rabi crops, Kharif crops, and Zaid crops, right? So now we have a question session on it. So let's start. Which of the following is not a type of crop? Okay, so which of the following is not a type of crop? Out of these, which is not a crop? Rabi, Kharif, Zaid, herbal. Answer is D, herbal. Which type of crop is sown in the winter season and harvested in spring? Okay, so look carefully. Sown in the winter season. What was the winter season? It is October to December. Harvested in spring. Spring is March to June. Around March. Yeah, around March. March and June. Right? These are the summer months. Which type of crop was this? So I told you it is A. Rabi crop. Is it the Kharif crop? No. Kharif crops are mostly sown in monsoon. Zaid is between these two. And herbal is totally different. Which type of crop is sown in the rainy season and harvested in autumn season? So if you studied the lecture properly, I sow it in the rainy season. Which is the rainy season? It is around June to July. It starts, right? June, July, August, and harvested in autumn season. Autumn is September, October, right? Now, is it Rabi? Is it Kharif? Is it Zaid? Is it herbal? So the correct option is option B. Kharif. Kharif crops. Which type of crop is sown between the Rabi and the Kharif seasons? Alright. So which type of crop is sown between the Rabi and Kharif seasons? Is it the Rabi crop? Is it the Kharif crop? Is it Zaid or is it herbal? It is Zaid. Z-A-I-D. Zaid crops. What was the example? Cucumber, watermelon, bitter gourd, muskmelon, right? Muskmelon. These have good water content. Mostly green in color. Okay. Which agricultural practice involves breaking up the soil into fine particles? So if you remember, we studied the preparation of soil. Okay. In preparation of soil, I showed you how the farmer makes the soil more fertile, more soft, right? It breaks the hard part of the soil into softer parts. It makes him aerated. It makes it aerated. What was aerated? So that it has some air inside it as well, so that the seed can breathe and it can grow, right? Now, what is that process called of plowing the field? Okay, was it sowing? Was it adding manure or fertilizers? Was it irrigation? Was it preparation of soil? So yeah, it is preparation of soil. Okay, we plow the land. We add manure, right? I add compost. I make it a proper land. I remove rocks. I level the field. Okay, so what is leveling of the field? I don't want my growing field to look like this. Okay, no. I want it like this. Right, I want it like this so that my crops can be grown straight and they are firm into the ground. Okay, and Also, if it rains, water does not get accumulated anywhere. Otherwise, that place in which water has accumulated will destroy that crop. Which agricultural practice involves the placing of seeds in the ground for germination? Okay, so in this practice, I'm placing the seeds, all right, one by one. This can be done manually or this can be done through machines and all. So, is it sowing? Is it adding manure or fertilizers? Is it irrigation? Is it harvesting? The correct option is, of course, option A. It is sowing. Sowing. What do? I place seeds in the soil for germination. Also, how do I sow? Let's go back. How do I sow it? Supposedly this is the ground. It will be sown a little deep into the earth, right? A little deep into the earth and at distance. These seeds will be at a distance so that when they grow, they have ample of space to grow and not compete for resources. Which agricultural practice involves supplying water to the crops? Supplying water to the crops. This practice is what is called supplying water. Is it sowing? Is it adding manure or fertilizers? Is it irrigation? Is it protection from weeds? The correct option is option C. Irrigation. Irrigation means adding water to crops. Okay. Sowing was placing the seeds. Adding manure or fertilizer is making the soil more fertile. Okay. Giving more nutrition to the seed. Protection from weeds is different. So, which agricultural practice involves removing unwanted plants from the field? So, what was the unwanted plants? It is weed. Alright, weed. W-E-E-D. This is weed. Sowing, adding manure or fertilizers, irrigation, protection from weeds. All of these. Okay, all of these. One is the removing of weed. Is it sowing? No. Is it adding manure? No. Is it irrigation? No. We just studied irrigation is adding water. It is protection from weed. Okay, protection from weeds. We remove the weed. We put chemicals to. We put herbicides. We put weedicides. Right. Which agricultural practice involves collecting mature crops from the field? Alright, I am collecting the mature crops which have food, okay, from the field, which have the resource. Is it sowing? Is it adding manure or fertilizers? Is it harvesting? Is it storage? It is C, harvesting. Harvesting means, so I told you in an example, like supposedly there is the wheat plant, wheat, right? Wheat looks like this. These are a few wheat plants. They will be cut a little above the ground. This is their place of cutting. Okay. Cut. If you remember sugar canes are like this. They will be cut from the base itself. Right. That is harvesting. We collect the mature crop which has grown, its season is complete. Now we can harvest it. Now we can consume it. Right? Now, which agricultural practice involves storing harvested crops for future use? We are storing. Okay. So, is it sowing? Is it adding manure? Is it fertilizing? No, it is storage. I store, storage. Which animal is not considered a milk animal? Okay, so milk animal which gives milk. Right? Is it cow? Is it buffalo? Is it sheep? Is it goat? Out of these, which one is not a milking animal? Alright, not a milking animal. It is sheep. I do not get milk from sheep. I get wool. Major milk producing is buffaloes, cows, and goats. Alright. Which animal provides eggs and meat? Alright. Which animal provides eggs and meat? Is it a cow? Is it a chicken? Is it a sheep? Is it a horse? Okay. Both eggs and meat. That is chicken. This provides both eggs and meat. Which community is known for their unique lifestyle? Unique means rare, and close association with forests. They have a close association with forest. Is it the Bonda tribes? Is it the Gond tribes? Is it the Santhal tribes? Or is it the Oraon tribes? If you've studied the lecture properly, you can easily answer. It is the A, Bonda tribes. The Bonda tribes are mainly found in which state of India? So that is an important question, right? This is star marked. It is important. Where are they found? Odisha, Jharkhand, Assam, Rajasthan. They are found in Odisha, in the hilly regions of Odisha. Which tribal community is known for their knowledge and conservation of wildlife? They are known for their knowledge, what they do, how they do, right? The way of life, their lifestyle, the conservation of wildlife. They also conserve wildlife, right? So is it the Bonda tribes? Is it the Gond tribes? Is it the Santhal tribes? Is it the Oraon tribes? Of course, it is a Bonda tribes. Which wildlife conservation organization is responsible for protecting and conserving wildlife in India? Okay, out of these, which one is responsible for conserving and protecting the wildlife in India? Okay, so for like these are examples. Okay, these are examples of projects, of agencies, of organizations, right? So out of these, which one was in India? It is Project Tiger. It is responsible for the wildlife conservation of wildlife, that is tiger. Okay, tiger got endangered. Project Tiger was started in 1973. Okay, which agricultural practice involves adding natural or artificial substances to soil to improve the fertility? Now I'm adding the natural or chemical fertilizers to improve the fertility. Is it sowing? Is it adding manure or fertilizers? Is it irrigation? Is it protection from weeds? I think the answer is pretty clear. It is B, adding manure or fertilizers. The manure is organic. Fertilizers are inorganic. They are made in factories. They are bought. Which type of crops requires more water for growth? Out of these, which one requires more and more water? Another great example would be, which one is a kharif crop that requires a lot of water? I have told you cactus, no. Is it wheat? No. Is it rice? No. Is it tomato? It is rice. Paddy. Okay, paddy. Rice requires a lot of water. Which of the following is not a method of irrigation? So out of these, one is not a method of irrigation. Okay. Sprinkler irrigation, drip irrigation, rainwater harvesting, flood irrigation. Can you guess out of these which is not a method of irrigation? The correct answer is yes, it is D, flood irrigation. I will not flood my crop field. Okay, I require water, but I require it in a particular amount. Okay, I will not flood it. If I flood it, it will damage the crop. which method of irrigation is most suitable for water conservation? Okay, this irrigation is most suitable. What does most suitable means? The best suitable. Which is the best that describes it for water conservation? Is it sprinkler irrigation? Is it drip irrigation? Is it canal irrigation? Is it flood irrigation? Correct option would be B, drip irrigation. So what happens is, for water conservation, I don't want much wastage. Conservation means in a wise manner, so that no wastage, right? It is drip irrigation, because in drip irrigation water is directly supplied at the root of crop. Alright, just where it needs it. I will give it just where it needs it. I will not use sprinklers so that it's flowing everywhere. I will not use canal. I will not flood it, because that will also lead to a lot of water wastage. In a conservation way, drip irrigation is the best. Which crop is harvested for its underground stems? This crop has underground stems. Alright. Is it wheat? Is it potato? Is it tomato, or is it a sugarcane? It is potato. Potatoes are underground. Okay. So this is an underground stem which has leaves and all. So potato is a stem. If I replant the tomatoes, they will grow again. Alright. So an underground stem, it is a potato. Which agricultural practice involves preventing the growth of unwanted plants that compete with crops for nutrients? So what am I talking about? Again, I'm talking about weeds, unwanted plants that they grow by themselves. Alright, so some seed might have come dispersed and it would have grown over there, right? This is what I don't want. They grow, they compete with my plant for sunlight. They compete means they will both try to take the nutrients, take the resources, but since they are growing so close, they will be competing. Some will be absorbed by my plant, some would be absorbed by the weed, right? So some sunlight would be given to my plant. I only want all that to my plant because it is beneficial for us. Weeds are not beneficial for us, right? So to prevent their competition, is it sowing? No. Sowing means putting in the seeds. Adding manure or fertilizers? Hell no, I will not put more fertilizers to weeds because they will grow further, right? I do not want that. Irrigation, I do not need weeds for water, right? Out of these, which one is used for preventing unwanted growth to compete for crops or nutrients? It is D, protection from weeds. Which of the following is a method of protecting crops from pests and diseases? I am protecting my crop from pests and diseases. What is a pest? Insects like ants, maybe rats, maybe some other insects, okay, moles, all these things that eat the crop, right? When they eat it, they produce more diseases. The crop will be damaged. If it is consumed by humans, it has bacteria. We will get affected. So pests and diseases. So which is a method of protecting the crops? Crop rotation, flood irrigation, harvesting, storage. The correct option is storage. I store it in such a way that there are no more insects, there are no pests, there are no unfavorable conditions, there is no moisture, there is no air, the crops will be safe, right? Which type of crop requires a long period of sunlight for growth? Now this crop requires a long period of sunlight. So for example, I can tell you, how do you calculate this? this crop takes long months to grow. Okay, long months to grow. If it is taking long months to grow, it requires more sunlight, right? So is it wheat? Is it potato? Is it paddy? Is it tomato? Right? So the correct option is paddy. Rice. Rice takes a lot of time. It is a kharif crop, right? So it requires a lot of sunlight. If you have seen in Punjab and in Haryana, there are rice fields. Now, what are those rice fields? They will be covered with water because it requires a lot of irrigation, and they will be in the sun for a lot of time. Since it is North India, it receives a lot of sunlight. Rice is grown over there. It requires a warm and humid environment. Which agricultural practice involves cutting and gathering mature crops from the field? Now this is cutting and gathering. Cutting and gathering. Okay, after my crop has matured, I will cut and gather it. Out of these, which is the correct option? Is it sowing? Is it adding manure or fertilizers? Is it harvesting? Is it storage? So it is C, harvesting. Harvesting means I will cut that crop, I will gather it. Okay, these are mature crops from the field. These will be stored. All right, after taking in all the resources, after taking in all the food, that crop, that food or that resource like cotton and all, they will be stored. So that cutting and taking out of the resource is called harvesting. In India, generally harvest is celebrated because that is the time when the crops are cut. We have a lot of crops, there is food, it is a good harvest, hence it is celebrated. So in Punjab it is Lodi, right? Lodi means the time when there is harvest. Now they have harvested the wheat, right? And in other parts, harvest is celebrated in different ways. Onam, in Kerala, there's a different ways of celebrating harvest. It is considered as a festival because it is a place, it is a time of enjoyment, right? Which agricultural practice involves drying and preserving harvested crops? So I am drying the harvested crops and I am preserving it. What is preserving? Preserving means keeping away from harm. Alright, the Tetra Pak or the chips that we eat, alright, they have been filled with nitrogen gas so that it is preserved. Preserved means it does not get spoiled, it does not get eaten by any harmful organism, alright, it does not contain any microorganism, it keeps the same way for a longer period of time. So I will dry my crop, I will preserve it. Now which practice is this? Sowing, adding manure or fertilizers, harvesting, storage. The correct option is option D, storage. They are stored in silos, large silos or granaries, which these are very big storage containers made of tin or made of steel or something, right? And these are spread over a very big area. They can have tons, thousands of kilograms of crop stored safely. Here we dry it. Why do we dry it? We dry it so that there is no moisture. Moisture can promote microorganisms and damage the harvest, right? So we dry it and preserve it in proper environment with away from any harmful creatures or harmful agents of environment, right? Which animal is commonly reared for its wool? Reared means raised. Which animal is commonly raised for its wool? Alright, I think from childhood we all know which animal is raised for its wool. Is it the cow? Is it goat? Is it buffalo? Is it the sheep? It is B, sheep. The fleece from the skin of the sheep. All right, we get it, right? It is woven, it is spun into yarn, and we make clothes out of wool because it is very soft, it is very warm, right? It helps us stay warm in cold months. We use it to make sweaters, we use it to make jackets, we use it to make blankets. Which animal is commonly reared for its meat? Now it is raised for meat. It is raised only so that it can be processed and eaten, right? Consumed for meat all over the world. So is it cow? Is it sheep? Is it goat? Is it buffalo? All right. So the correct option is option C. It is goat, the mutton. Okay. Goat is raised, killed, processed and eaten for its meat. It contains a good amount of protein, it contains a lot of vitamins, iron. All right, red meat. All over the world, even in India, people eat goat. Which community is known for the unique lifestyle and sustainable use of forest resources? Sustainable use means it is conserved so that future generations will also use. Now this community, what are they asking? The name of the community. Community means group of people known for their unique lifestyle, means unlike any other, and sustainable use of forest resources. They use forest resources in such a way that their coming generations can also use. They help in wildlife conservation. So is it the Bonda tribes? Is it the Gond tribes? Is it the Santhal tribes? Is it the Oraon tribes? It is a Bonda tribes, right? Which animal is commonly reared for its milk? I rear it for its milk. Rear means raised again. This animal is raised to produce milk. Cow, sheep, goat, buffalo. Alright. Majorly in India and abroad, this animal is commonly reared. It is cow. Cows give a lot of milk. India produces millions of tons of milk. Alright. India is the biggest producer of milk in the world. Alright. Which organization is responsible for the conservation of forests and wildlife in India? Okay. Out of these, which is responsible for the conservation of forests and wildlife in India? Ministry of Environment and Forest. Conservation. These are responsible for conservation, not running. Alright. For conservation. Wildlife Conservation Society. Right. Is it C, the Forest Survey of India? Is it D, the Greenpeace? Out of all these, which one is used for conservation? Okay. Which is responsible? It is A, the Ministry of Environment and Forest. So by the name you can guess it is the ministry responsible for conservation of forests and wildlife in India. Which type of crop is suitable? Suitable means the best possible, right? Suitable for cultivation. Cultivation means growing during the summer season. So out of these, which one is best suitable for cultivation, means growing during the summer season? Is it A, Rabi? Is it B, Kharif? Is it C, Zaid? Is it D, Herbal? So the correct option is C, Zaid. It is grown during the summer season. It is from March to June. Okay. This is between Rabi and Kharif. Between. Which agricultural practice involves loosening and turning over the soil to improve its texture? So whenever we are talking about the agricultural practice, it involves the loosening of soil, means aerating it, removing all the hard substances so that there is proper germination. Turning over the soil, I am properly turning over the soil so that there is soft particles, right? Not hard mud. Is it sowing? No. Sowing was adding of the seeds, right? Is it adding manure or fertilizers? No. Is it irrigation? No. It is the preparation of soil. A farmer prepares the soil before adding the seeds. That is the first part. Alright. He will remove all the weeds. He will remove all the grass. He will remove all the harmful things. He will check for any pests. He will see the soil. He will prepare the soil so that when the seeds are put in, they grow easily. That is the most important part of agriculture. We prepare the soil. Which agricultural practice involves the application of organic or inorganic substances? Which agricultural practice involves the application? Application means applying of organic and inorganic substances. Organic means derived from nature, like or existing organically, like leaves, leftover food and all these things. Inorganic means made in factories. These substances to soil to provide nutrients to the plants. Is it sowing? No. Is it adding manure or fertilizers? Yes, it is adding manure or fertilizers. Is it irrigation? No. Is it protection from weeds? No. This organic or inorganic is this. Adding manure, that is organic. Adding fertilizer, that is not organic. Which agricultural practice involves the removal of unwanted plants again and crop from fields to prevent competition by nutrients? It is a recurring question and it is a simple answer: protection from weeds. Which agricultural practice involves collection of mature crops? Now we can easily answer. It is sowing. No. Is it manure? No. It is C, harvesting. Which agricultural practice involves proper storage of harvested crops to prevent spoilage? Is it sowing? Is it adding manure or fertilizers? Is it harvesting or is it storage? It is D, storage. Which animal is commonly reared? Reared means raised. For its eggs. See the options: cow, chicken, sheep, goat. Which of these gives eggs? It is chicken. Which community is known for their close association? Close association means working very closely, alright, their affiliation, their partnership with forest and their unique cultural practices. Bonda tribes, Gond tribes, Santhal tribes, Oraon tribes. It is Bonda tribes. Which organization is responsible for conservation and protection of wildlife, including the endangered species in India? Including endangered species. Is it the Wildlife Trust of India? Is it the International Union for Conservation of Nature? It is the IUCN. Is it the National Tiger Conservation Authority? Is it the World Wildlife Fund, WWF? No, it is A, Wildlife Trust of India, that is responsible for conservation of protection of wildlife, including endangered species in India, right? So this was the end of our example session on crops and agricultural practices. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thank you.